It's the weekend, and you know what that means. It's WWND, Wrestling with Neurodivergence, you dumb whores. And we're coming to you from the birthplace of Roderick Strong. I'm Lisa. I have autism. Let's get into it. Tonight we're going to be talking about the January 1st Dynamite, Fight for the Fallen. But first, I want to bring up something that you might already have noticed. I am flying solo tonight. It is a Wisconsin winter after all, and if you're not sick with something, you have escaped by some miracle. Let's start off with Fight for the Fallen. Definitely an interesting show. It marked the very first simulcast on Max, and we started out with a promo from Mox that happened on Saturday after World's End. Mox has said they all talk about who they are and what they're going to do, but when you put their feet to the fire, who they are is often very different. He touched on Marina taking that Blade Runner for him, and he did say he'll melt the title down before he lets anyone else get their hands on it. And the only reason that Adam Copeland, now going by Cope, is even getting a shot at him is because he was just the loudest guy in the room at World's End. Honestly, he keeps up his intensity, looks great. I mean, of course I'm going to say that. So let's go with Thirstometer here. It's Mox. Surrounded by all the guys, I'm going to say 11 out of 10. Next, we have a rated FTR promo. Cope said he saw something in Mox. Fear, because deep down Mox knows Cope is sicker than he is. Now, I'm not sure how true this is, because I did not follow Adam Copeland from his very beginnings in WWE, so we'll see. It could be good, I don't know. Although I do really like that he could ultimately match Mox's penchant for violence with the way he does the thing with the chair, the part of the chair in the mouth. So yeah, Thirstometer. I'm going to say 9 out of 10. And that's mostly for Cope. We have our first match of the night. Orange Cassidy versus Hangman Adam Page. The ref is Stefan Smith. Now, I like the arc of both of these men. Orange Cassidy is the reluctant leader, and then you have Adam Page as the unhinged cowboy. And I love how it's like, I'm Hangman. I'm a super badass. You can tell that I'm super badass by my black, wearing all black, the flames, the fringe, and of course the sequins on those flames. Hangman wins, but then he turns around and starts beating up Orange after winning. For some reason, Christopher Daniels gets involved, admonishes him, and then Hangman lays out Christopher Daniels. I'm not understanding that part at all. I don't get why Christopher Daniels got involved in the first place. I guess we'll see maybe. I don't know. Is this trying to carry on with the whole people trying to help Hangman? Yeah, I just don't understand. But maybe it'll lead somewhere. I did notice Hangman, when he went up the ramp, said, "Stay the hell out of my business" to Christopher Daniels. So we'll see. As far as Stefan goes and his reffing job, total thumbs up from me. He was on point. I mean, after the match shenanigans, there's not much you can do. What's done is done. I thought this was a great opening match. They had great in-ring chemistry. If you are a new wrestling viewer because of the Max simulcast, it's a great way to introduce two main guys in AEW, and I really enjoyed that. Unfortunately, it was a loss for Orange Cassidy, and since he also lost at World's End, I'm not really sure where he's going to go from there. Thirstometer, easy. This one is 11 out of 10. I'm going to try out the meat meter here. Gary's not with me, but I'm going to try it out. Orange Cassidy is very lean, and honestly, so is Hangman. There's not much beef there. I am going to say, we'll give it a cheeseburger. Both men, very lean, but still tasty. So let's close out this match. We see Jay White backstage. He planned to start out 2025 as a champ, but Wheeler Yuta cost him. He still has a plan with a path to Mox at Maximum Carnage. As far as Roddy and Swerve go, that's nothing personal. Obviously, the point of that three-way match is to get a spot in the Casino Gauntlet. I'm looking forward to this match that's coming up later tonight. Thirstometer. We're going to go 10 out of 10. Next match, Acclaimed versus the Hurt Syndicate. Ref, Aubrey Edwards. Before this match started, we see the pre-tape where Anthony Bowens did ask Max Caster, did he mean to hit him with the belt? And Max is like, no, he is totally serious now. No more messing around, no joking around. He's not even going to rap. So we'll see how that goes. Well, on the way to the ring, Max did not rap. He still had on those awful tights, though. I am not a fan of those. However, the Hurt Syndicate came out, and MVP had on, I would call it a dark gray suit with a lavender tie, the matching lavender pocket square with the lavender lapel rose, looking dapper AF. Now, the crowd may not have all been saying we hurt people along with the entrance music, but there were a lot of people bopping their heads to that beat. And how could you not? That song is really catchy. MVP was on commentary, and if you don't follow him on Threads, I really think you should. He is a delight. He had said that Lashley and Shelton Benjamin, said they don't want Caster in the Hurt Syndicate. Plus, Max Caster took too long to answer his golden ticket offer. I wonder if the Hurt Syndicate is interested in Anthony Bowens at all, because Anthony did show more strength in the ring than Max. We saw dissension in the ranks of the Acclaimed again. I noticed Max make that blind tag when Bowens was doing so well in ring, and so Bowens jumped off the apron because if Max wants in so bad, he'll let him. And after the match, Anthony yelled in the ring that Max is a selfish asshole. Hurt Syndicate wins, of course. Aubrey gets a thumbs up from me. I am wondering now, first I thought it was going to be Max that turns on Anthony Bowens, but now knowing that the Hurt Syndicate is not even interested in Max Caster, I'm wondering if it's going to be Bowens that turns on Max Caster. And who gets custody of Daddy Ass? In this case, I would say it would probably be Anthony Bowens. That's just what my thinking. Thirstometer. This one's a solid 10 out of 10 from me. Everybody involved. Beautiful people. Meat meter. We had some USDA, I'm going to say prime beef. There was definitely some meat slapping going on. Like, you had Bobby Lashley. Yeah, him alone. Excellent. Excellent. And Shelton Benjamin is not too shabby himself as far as meat. And by that, I mean size. So let's close out this match. We see Alex Marvez backstage with Swerve Strickland and Prince Nana. Swerve said he's going to get back to being the best, and Nana wished everyone a happy new year. I thought it was just short and sweet, here you go. It was what it was. Thirstometer, 11 out of 10. Next match, Jamie Hayter versus Julia Hart. Ref, Aubrey Edwards. I loved Jamie's new gear, although I'm not sure if her entrance music matches the vibe she's going for. She's got like that 70s Daphne vibe from Scooby-Doo going on, and her theme music is more of like a dance vibe that's not really that era, if you know what I mean. It's awesome to see Julia back. Julia's jacket and her gear look great. I must say, on Julia's gear, the red fringes would tickle me and distract me, but maybe that's why she has them, to mess with her opponents. It's just a thought. Julia won by using the mist in her eyes. One detail I noticed, though, was that the mist did not have any color in it, so I'm not sure if it'll have any effect on Jamie or not. But I do think the way that Jamie set up everything and sold this mist in the eye situation really makes it seem like now she's mad, and because this could really set up a great feud between them. I would really like to see that. As far as Aubrey's job, she gets a thumbs down. She fell for the arrow distraction that Julia gave come on, Aubrey, you're better than that. Gary and I both know it. You're better than that. Thirstometer, I'm going to say a solid 10 out of 10. Both women are very attractive. Meat meter, I'm going to have to say this was more of a vegan leaning match. The women are both very muscular, yet slender. Not much meat happening. So let's close out this match. People, we saw an excellent promo for Kenny Omega, who made his return at World's End to present Okada with the Continental Belt. But this promo said that Kenny would be appearing next week. So I don't care if he wrestles. I don't care if it's just him in a suit. I am very much looking forward to this. Next, we have Okada addressing Kenny, and he basically says, "Stay out of my business, bitch." It was excellent. Thermometer for that, 10 out of 10. Mercedes Moné comes to the ring. She has on this gorgeous blue dress with draping accents that look like necklace strands all over it. Like, she always looks great. And she had AEW put together a special New Year's package. And then she had said she wants Mina's Rev Pro title on January 5th at Wrestle Dynasty. I think this was basically a promo for Wrestle Dynasty, her match at Wrestle Dynasty. Honestly, I'm not really sure why it was in the ring and why it took up so much TV time. Would have been nice if this was just another women's match. I understand that a lot of AEW talent was already in Japan for Wrestle Dynasty and Wrestle Kingdom, so it is what it is. Thermometer, I'm going to say 9 out of 10. We're with Alex Marvez again. He is backstage with Roddy, Adam Cole, and Kyle O'Reilly. And Adam said it feels good to have Undisputed Kingdom complete. 2025 is their year. And Kyle said they can do trios, tag matches, and singles. And Roddy said, but when it comes to the gauntlet, it's every man for himself. It was, a nice little promo. That's what it was. Thermometer, I'm going to say 10 out of 10. Based on Roddy and Kyle. Next match, Roddy Strong versus Jay White versus Swerve Strickland. Ref is Rick Knox. I am honestly a fan of every guy in this match. I loved Nana's sparkly suit. It showed up so nice on Max, if you were watching Max. Swerve walked the barricade. He is a cat. I'm serious. And out of nowhere, Ricochet came up from behind him and stabbed him from behind in the forehead with gold scissors. I liked the detail that it was gold scissors because I feel like the gold showed up better on TV and drew your attention to the instrument being used better than if it was like silver. Let me know what you think. Jay White won. Ricochet continued to stalk Swerve. He threatened Nana with the scissors. I must say the glasses are giving me the serial killer glasses, that vibe. And he had on like the used car salesman suit. And when Nana tried to intervene again, he hit Nana on the back with the chair, the steel chair. Not cool, man. Nana is a national treasure. And then Ricochet went completely off script and started headbutting Swerve, which, wow. Swerve was sitting in the chair in the ring, and then he did the spirit gun to Swerve, and then he was just outside the ring, covered on his head, and then his white shirt was Swerve's blood, and he starts maniacally laughing, which I thought was a very nice touch. This is a nice, I dig it. I dig this character that he's doing. Adam Cole, Roddy, and Kyle O'Reilly came out to help Swerve and ran Ricochet off. That surprised me, but I figure this must be their official face turn. So, okay. I did notice there was a screeching person in the audience that was very distracting. As far as Rick Knox goes, I will give him a thumbs up. How was he supposed to know that Ricochet was going to attack Swerve? And once that attack starts, are you going to stop Ricochet with scissors? I mean, let's be realistic. Takeaway. I liked the match as it was happening. Again, for new viewers that might have been tuning in who are streaming on Max, you got to see 3 amazing wrestlers from AEW in Roddy Strong, Jay White, and Swerve Strickland. They all had great in-ring chemistry. It was just a great match all around. And then you had the twist of Ricochet turning completely psychotic, which was amazing. And I'm looking forward to seeing where this goes now between Swerve and Ricochet. Thermometer, 11 out of 10. You have Swerve Strickland, you have the Pirate in Jay White, and you have the big DILF energy in Roddy Strong. Meat meter. I'm going to give it a cheeseburger. Swerve is muscular but lean. It's not, it's all these guys are tasty, but Roddy and Jay, very lean. Still tasty though. Swerve was the biggest guy in the ring. So we'll say that. And yeah, let's close out this match. Alex Marvez is with Jay Lethal, Satnam Singh, and Sanjay, and he's wondering if they've heard from Jeff Jarrett, and then Jeff comes up and asks if they've seen Karen, and are they sure of Jeff's decision, and yes, and then Karen shows up, and she's like, oh, I have your back, and then she gives him his boots, and usually we all know, that generally means he's gonna retire, so, oh, great, thirstometer, I'm gonna say 2 out of 10 Diet Cokes, that's all I got. Sorry. Mariah May is backstage, and she says she's told not to say anything bad about the women's division, so she won't. She said she was doing her job better than any of the other women. She doesn't have epics. She is the epic. They have to prove themselves to her. She's the woman from hell. I honestly thought this is one of her best promos. It drew me in. I do remember thinking, she is a good champion. I just wish I would have seen her wrestle more, if that's fair. It didn't have to be title matches. And I was expecting her feud with Mina to be longer. Like, I didn't expect her and Tony to have a long, drawn-out feud, but I did expect her and Mina to be something a little bit like Mina comes over to AEW. They're buddy-buddy, they're back together. Yay. And then all of a sudden, Mina's like, I want that title. And that's the extended feud. But that's what I get for having expectations. Sometimes you get let down. Mariah looked gorgeous, as she always does. Thirstometer, I'm going to say 9 out of 10. Now we have Jeff Jarrett coming to the ring. I have no idea why he's wearing gloves to talk. Maybe it's a comfort thing, like when Adam Cole comes to the ring with his hair wet when he doesn't have a match. I'm not sure. He was talking about gratitude, then he talked about his family's history in the business, and he totally does a bait and switch. He's not retiring. He's not even thinking of retiring. He just basically told us he signed his last pro wrestling talent contract. He wants one more ride. He wants to go for the AEW Men's Championship. He wants to be in the gauntlet. Great. I don't want him to have the championship. That's my main takeaway. And I don't really care for the bait and switch of, at least when Sting came out, he was like, this is my timeline. I appreciate that. Jeff doing the whole, I'm bringing my boots. And yeah, I was not. And I have to say, I do give the guy props for wearing more stylish shoes than I do. I admit that. And can fans please stop chanting what after wrestlers speak when they're bored? Like, yeah, it wasn't the greatest promo, but I did not know his family's history in the business, so that was slightly interesting. And I did start hearing some fans start chanting what, and I was just like, okay, stop, please. It's just one of my pet peeves. Thirstometer. 2 out of 10 Diet Cokes, mainly because he's in way better shape than Chris Jericho. That's what you get. We have a match. Powerhouse Hobbs versus Rob Killjoy and John Cruz. The ref is Stefan Smith. Powerhouse Hobbs was wearing black and gold. Hurt Syndicate colors. That was my immediate thought. This was a quick match. Powerhouse Hobbs won. He looked strong. He looked great. I want him to rack up those wins. I don't necessarily want to see him in a faction right away, so soon after he returns, but I mean, it would be cool if he was in the Hurt Syndicate. I mean, I wouldn't be sad. Let me know what you think. Stefan, total thumbs up. He was on point. Thirstometer, 9 out of 10. Meat Meter. Hello. It was some prime beef up in that ring. Hobbs, wow. He is a meaty man. We all know this. So let's close out this match. We have Alex Marvez with Big Bill and Brian Keith. Alex asks where Chris Jericho is. And, he's told Chris Jericho doesn't have time for people of Asheville. It's not a good enough town. They see rated FTR. They're like 3 steps away, 4 steps away, 5, whatever. They're like right there. Okay. And Big Bill doesn't know who should be more ashamed. Rated FTR for being proud of Asheville? Or the people of Asheville for being proud of them. And Brian Keith called them Rated R Dumbass. mess. And then, I don't know, Cope did something weird with calling Brian Keith's gauges like the earpiece. Like, okay, whatever. But then he did look at Big Bill and say, your face is stupid. Which, I don't know if that's like, it's because you look similar to a young me or what that was, but alright. And then he said, rated FTR versus Learning Tree. So that's happening. I mean, all in all, it was a backstage segment. I wasn't really impressed with it overall. Yeah, there you go. But at least there was no Jericho. So yeah, thirstometer. I am gonna say 8 out of 10 Diet Cokes. And then for the Learning Tree, they get all the Diet Pepsis. Now we get a very crotch-heavy viewpoint of MJF from last Saturday from the paper after the pay-per-view until the camera viewpoint like pans up to his face. And he said, finally the chapter of Better Than You Baby is closed. Now it's on for the next chapter, getting back the Triple B, the belt that he didn't lose, fair and square. He asks Jon Moxley, what's a king to a god? And 2025, the devil gets his due, part 2. I find it interesting that here is another challenger to throw his hat in the ring who wants to go after Mox for the title. I'm wondering how all this will play out as more people want to go after the title, how the Death Riders will survive. And I guess we'll see. Thirstometer, 8 out of 10. Now we have our final match, our main event. Mox, Claudio, and Yuta with Marina ringside versus Cope, Adam Copeland, and FTR as rated FTR. The ref is Paul Turner. And again, as I've been referencing, I guess Adam Copeland is just Cope, I guess. There's something on social media where he talks to Renee about that, about why he's chosen to do that. I did like rated FTR's matching gear. I need Wheeler to trim up his beard and get his hair trimmed. That was just bothering me, but it's all right. I liked the intensity of Cope and Mox and how Mox sells. But I do need Cope to cut the back of his hair. Like, trim it up, please. Just please. During this match, I was not expecting Jay White to do a Blade Runner on Yuta. That was great. So he got his revenge on Yuta for interfering during World's End. 2, awesome jump off the announce table by Cope taking Mox through the barricade. I also noticed that when he threw Mox over his back that table did not break. Rated FTR win, which good for them. You know, hometown hero win. Paul Turner, thumbs down. My man, multiple shenanigans. You're dealing with the Death Riders. We know this is gonna happen by now. Come on. Main takeaway. Where is this all going now? Are they going to stay rated FTR for a while? I mean, I'm not mad about it. It's just like, okay, but what about the Outrunners and FTR? What happens with that team? And at the end of World's End, when Copeland said that to Mox that they're coming for it all, does he mean trios titles? Does he mean the championship? Does he mean they're taking out the Death Riders? I need clarification. That's all I want. Thirstometer. You get an 11 out of 10. You got Cope and you got Mox. Meat meter. I'm going to say you got USDA Select. FTR, beefy guys. Everybody else, though, is kind of lean or very muscular. So let's close out this match. Bitch count 1.
Bitch.
My ref of the night is Stefan Smith. He had 2 matches. He did well with both matches. Shenanigans happened after the matches, so there's not much you can do there, you know? But during the matches, I think he did really well. My wrestler of the night, Anthony Bowens, because he's still not dealing with Max Caster's BS. I don't blame him for that. My D-bag of the night. I first went initially with Max Caster because he totally went into business for himself during the match with the Hurt Syndicate, but obviously Ricochet makes a good case. Now it is time for the neurodivergent corner. Ooh. and I'm going to talk about what is neurodiversity. I am making reference to information I got out of 2 different books, which I will show the covers to on our social media so that you can look them up yourself if you would like to. Neurodiversity. This term was first put forth by an Australian sociologist, and her name is Judy Singer, and it was in 1998. And it was revolutionary at the time because a lot of people with neurodivergent conditions were seen as burdens to themselves and to others. And she wanted to normalize the differences in people's brains. She's the author of the book Neurodiversity, The Birth of an Idea. Now, the term neurodiversity first appeared in print in 1998 when journalist Harvey Bloom compared neurodiversity to biodiversity. And I quote, "Neurodiversity may be every bit as crucial for the human race as biodiversity is for life in general." End quote. It was really made popular in Steve Silberman's book, Neurotribes, The Legacy of Autism and the Future of Neurodiversity. That book focuses on the history of autism, among other things. Neurodivergent is a term applied to individuals. A neurodivergent person has what's called neurodivergence, a cluster of behaviors that led to that person's label and or diagnosis. Now, there's a lot of barriers to getting an official diagnosis, so a lot of people will strongly feel like something is different about them, which, applying to myself, growing up and even now, I always felt like an alien. To give an example, I felt like I was definitely different than my peers and my family members. I just did not fit. There was something definitely different about me. And I've heard that from other people as well. The person that doesn't have any of those behaviors is referred to as neurotypical. You might often hear a neurodivergent person refer to masking, and that refers to an unconscious or conscious effort to hide or cover one's own self, their authentic self, from the world to try to accommodate others and just to coexist, to feel safe. I often find myself masking, and that is just so I feel normal or I feel safe around the people around me. Yeah, so a lot of people do not have an official diagnosis because it's expensive and it's hard to get a diagnosis. But that essentially is a lot of what I found out in the 2 books I was reading about neurodiversity. Thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it. I want to let you know we do have our new website. It is WWNDpod.com. Also, you can always email us with voicemail, pictures, hot takes, whatever. We will read and share stuff on the show if you give us permission. Our email is wwndpod@gmail.com. We still have free stickers. Feel free to DM us or email us and we'll get you some. Also, please like, subscribe, rate, leave a comment or a review. Help boost us on social media. You can find us on Instagram, Threads, and Facebook at WWND Pod. We are always live threading. It will be during Collision now since Rampage for the foreseeable future is no longer, and the pay-per-views when we get those. I want to say thank you again for joining me. We really appreciate you for listening. We really appreciate our listeners, and we'll see you again next week. And with that, I bid you adieu.
Dead air!
Thank you for listening to WWND, Wrestling with Neurodivergence, a Podcast Ahoy production. The producers of WWND are Lisa Rudd, Amanda Putnam, and Gary Putnam. Recording is done by Gary Putnam. Editing is done by Lisa Rudd. Check out our social media for updates on upcoming pods and for clips and other media referenced in this episode. Links and information can be found in the episode notes. Thanks again from everyone at the WWND family.